Hi, it's Pat Gillis here. And I was reading an article the other day, and it was about art, oddly enough, anyway. And the lady was mentioning in this particular piece, she was saying that no one ever walks up to a Rembrandt and says, well, anybody could do that. And I'm no art critic. I fall under the category of I just know what I like. So I think I can recognize as well as anybody that a Rembrandt, there's a lot of standing on the shoulders of giants in a way, right? When you look at a painting like that, where you realize that he studied, he learned from other masters, and then he did whatever he did that made Rembrandt, right? I mean, it's the same a little bit with Picasso. If you look at some of his drawings, I was looking that up one time, and he's actually, he drew beautifully, right? And the fact that he chose to put two eyes on the same side of a nose at some point, I mean, that's a statement he's making that, again, in my limited understanding of art, doesn't really work for me. But I mean, it doesn't, I know that he's actually beautiful. He could draw beautifully, right? So he obviously had learned a lot of skills before he decided to kind of experiment with a different sort of thing. In a way, I can tie this into horses too. Surprise, surprise, right? But like with horses, it's not like it's a new creature that we've just sort of discovered, like that we never knew what a horse was, but we found it now, and so we're going to see what we can do with this animal and see if we can introduce it into our lives or whatever. In actual fact, the horse has been with us for thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of years, and so there's been a lot of experimentation done with horses, right? A lot of things have been tried and a lot of things have been discarded because they didn't work. There are certain fundamental principles, I think, in riding that have stayed the same for centuries, and I think it behooves us to know what they are, right? To sort of to have a little bit of a foundational understanding of what people way smarter than us did. Like if you think to yourself, the people that did a lot of the early training, I'm not talking about the really sort of harsh, cruel things. I'm talking about sort of in that Renaissance Enlightened period. But anybody who rode all the time, right? Like it wasn't like they rode on weekends for enjoyment or whatever. They actually used the horse in a lot of their day-to-day life, and so they had they were really invested in learning about how to train horses and how to do things with horses. And I just think sometimes, like, we shouldn't throw all that information away. I'm not suggesting that people can't come up with new and innovative ways to train horses, but the Italian fellow, I think his name was Caprilli, and he came up with deciding that when we jumped over jumps, we should use a forward seat instead of sort of sitting back and leaning back in the air over the fence. This, that was brilliant. That only took place, I think, in, oh my gosh, I think it was like 1911 or something. So it's a fairly recent history that we did that. So I'm not suggesting there can't be innovations and there can't be really profound innovations with how we deal with horses. But I do think there's great value in learning, first of all, what the masters knew and then building from there. At least for me, it's an ethical thing, to not do something with horses that's been proven not to work. But even if you don't have an ethical point of view about it, it just doesn't waste so much time, right? To have gone with what somebody else has done before and like just use their knowledge to get you a little further along on the path. That just seems to make sense to me. What I'm going to do at the end of this video is I'll just list just a couple of suggestions of books that you might want to look at if you're interested in kind of getting an idea of what's come before. And at any rate, if you're watching this anywhere besides at our blog, which is at ismyhorsehappy.com, go on over there, scroll down, leave a message, let me know what books you like to read about horses, and we will talk to you next week. Remember to thank your horse. Oh, and P.S. Last week, my video was so shaky that it was almost making me seasick when I had to watch it, so I apologize. I think it's that French-Canadian thing, we talk with our hands all the time. So I was trying really hard today to not gesture quite so much as I usually do. So hopefully this video is a little bit more stable. Okay, thanks. Talk to you soon.